The NFL's clock has been cleaned. Bad Bunny was not funny to the advertisers, and the Super Bowl, well, in shams. Here's what we've got out of Variety. Jake Paul took to X to tell people to turn off the Super Bowl during Bad Bunny's halftime show performance, and did they ever? Quote, purposefully turning off the halftime show, Paul wrote, let's rally together and show big corporations they can't just do whatever they want without consequences, which equals viewership for them. You are their benefit. Realize you have power. Turn off this halftime. A fake American citizen performing who publicly hates America. I cannot support that. Now, I don't know the citizenship of Bad Bunny. I have no idea. If it's just that he was born in Puerto Rico, he's a full citizen. I'm not going to deny that. What I will say, though, is that Jake Paul and TPUSA were heard loud and clear on YouTube alone. TPUSA drawing more than 5 million concurrent viewers. And this goes up and up when you start considering that the Charlie Kirk YouTube channel also was putting this out there.
It was crazy. Almost a million.
You had X, you had Rumble, you had... folks, we can keep going. Right now, we think that likely this is going to wind up being somewhere in the vicinity of 10 million concurrent viewers. And what does that mean? 10 million people left the NFL halftime and went to TPUSA. Now, what did they leave? What did they not get to see? Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this. This is the Bad Bunny halftime show. It's not on a stage. They actually covered it with stalks of grass. What? And I don't know what it's supposed to be. I don't know what crop it's supposed to be, but they covered the field with large bales of grass and plants and palms and banana trees with a little mercado in the middle of it. And they ran through, let's see if we can get all those flags, America's big Super Bowl halftime. They ran through with Latin American flags and all kinds of things. Puerto Rico, too, in the USA. They were smart enough to put it in the front. But you know what? I think we've all had enough. And Bad Bunny came out with shoulder pads that would make your 80s mom blush. Yeah, I'm pleased with that one. And they got it on. They put out stuff like the only thing more powerful than hate is love, which is this whole thing seems to have been a dig on race relations and immigration and all that kind of stuff. They said they were going to do that. It seems to me that all the imagery was clearly that it's people working in the fields and singing in Latin America. The whole thing was in Spanish. So if you're not a Spanish singer or speaker, you have no idea what they were saying. Yo puedo hablar español, so I knew what they were saying, but that doesn't change that for the vast number of Americans, they couldn't understand. And frankly, it wasn't good. It wasn't impressive. It wasn't. This guy is not worthy of singing at the Super Bowl. If we can get a clear shot of him, that'll do. That'll do. He's not there. It's not in a league that listen, we disagree with Bruce Springsteen probably on a lot of political stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Springsteen has the chops to do the Super Bowl. This guy's like a 5-year-old in comparison. It was embarrassing culture. And TPUSA putting out their Kid Rock version of the halftime show, clean the clock of the NFL, no doubt about it. And here's what's crazy, culture, and you tell me what you think about this.
Okay.
If I'm an advertiser, okay, and I paid all that money, I paid a lot of money for people to watch my ad right after the Super Bowl halftime ends. Okay, because the women who don't care about football, not all women care about football. I don't know if you know that, but some don't.
No.
They came back, they watched this, right? That's the theory. And I paid a lot of money. I paid millions of dollars if I'm an advertiser. And then I find out that because of who was selected, that 10 million Americans turned off the TV that I expected to have watch my stuff and they went somewhere else. This opens the floodgates, culture, from now on. This is a new strategy. People don't have to watch singers who hate them, sing in languages they don't understand, in imagery that evokes political themes in what should be a unifying performance. Your thoughts on the advertiser side, culture?
Well, first of all, it demonstrates that there's an audience out there for everything. And you want the broadest possible audience. And in the United States, if you're trying to target that market, it's country music. There was sufficient country music performers and, well, direct opposition to rock music performers that did a great job here. You had Kid Rock, of course, as the headliner. You had Gabby out there singing, Lee Brice, Brantley Gilbert, and many others that were singing about faith, family, and freedom in addition to football. Nobody was trying to, downplay the game that was taking place. They were only trying to uplift what was happening in our country and the positives that are here. So you saw a lot of advertisers trying to do that this year. I think the baby Clydesdale commercial is representative of that. But I think everybody's trying to avoid the Bud Light moment now, knowing what that can cost them here in the United States.
This is the Bud Light. This is the Bud Light moment of the NFL. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, this was so terrible because let's say that 70% of your population doesn't speak Spanish, which I think is probably right. And not only that, but even the people who speak Spanish, as do I, probably are sitting there thinking, wait a minute, this is the American National Football League. This is America's sport. I know it's baseball, but the NFL, it's football, folks. People love it. Well, and we're speaking completely in Spanish. Well, it's a turn off. People are turning the TV off.
You're not wrong, but the percentage of the population that appreciate football is higher than baseball, unfortunately.
I agree.
Look. And
it's not the Babe Ruth era anymore. It's the Bad Bunny era, apparently.
Well, that's not good. But honestly, the problem is the NFL has been trying to make themselves a globalist league for a long time and compete with soccer, as we call it in the USA. The American football is not catching on globally. I don't care how many, teams decide to play in other stadiums elsewhere in the world. It's just not the same thing. This is a uniquely American sport. It has been, and it didn't catch on anywhere else in the world. And so why would you try to expand your appeal beyond the borders of the United States with a musical act that hates the United States and its policies?
Well, now just hang on, Culture. Think about this for a minute. Think with me, okay? Think through this.
I'm here.
Culture. I know that we have not been fans of every single Super Bowl halftime show that there's been. But at least, for example, Katy Perry, God bless her, she went to space, or she thinks she did, and she came back down and kissed the ground, and she liked it. And Culture, Katy Perry is a wackadoodle, but she had the dancing sharks that we talked about. Never did I ever think that we would substitute a stage for a concert, for a halftime show, for fields of sugarcane rolled onto the greens. Hang on just a second, Culture. I got to bring in a guy who's going to help us with this. Marvin, the head of the M4 Empire, the editor-in-chief of thatparkplace.com, the managing editor of Geeks and Gamers.
Yeah, I got you. All right.
Is here. Marvin, welcome aboard.
Hey, Marv.
Marvin, could TPUSA have picked any better year than this to go head-to-head with the NFL? You're muted, Marv, just like Bad Bunny.
Welcome.
I don't think if the NFL had actually had done anything else, I don't think Turning Point USA would have done it. I think this was a direct response to what they did with the Bad Bunny thing. Plus we were able to honor Charlie Kirk and remember his legacy and whatnot. I watched the Turning Point USA. I did not watch a single second of the Bad Bunny one.
I had them on both at the same times. I felt badly about it, but I did it so that I would know how bad the other one was, and it was bad. It's the worst I've seen.
I apologize to everyone for being late. I'm late because I was writing up the article on geeksandgamers.com that's currently up there on this.
Good.
That Turning Point USA pulled at least 6.3 million people away from the Bad Bunny Super Bowl.
And you and I know that's bigger than that because Xfinity hasn't been counted yet, and all the other outlets, including OAN.
That is just counting 5.1 million on Turning Point USA YouTube, and then Charlie Kirk's YouTube during one of the performances had up to 900 and something. It's all in the article. But then Rumble had about 230K also.
X also had a huge number, so we'll need to check that later. But I think when all is said and done, it's very possible this thing gets close to 10 million. And Marvin, what we've been talking about is the advertisers, they're going to be saying, wait a minute, what are we doing here? We paid all this money, and 10 million people turned their TVs off and went to this other thing that we didn't get to, we're not in on it.
Look, this right here is proof positive that, the uncomfortable truth that Hollywood likes to, pretend doesn't exist is the truth, that there are far more people in this country that think a certain way than the way that they think. And people did not want this Bad Bunny thing. How was it?
It was awful. I mean, it was literally terrible. Marvin, there was no stage. It was all in Spanish except for Lady Gaga. And she was, I mean, I know Lady Gaga can look a little strange, but Skeletor. No, I'm not going to say that, folks. I'm not going to do it. But look at this, just for imagery. There's the American flag behind the Puerto Rican flag and surrounded by Latin American flags in the halftime show. And it was, I'm telling you, it was racially monolithic. 99.9% racially monolithic, and it was absurdist, I would say. It was absolutely, it made me say they must be trying to turn people away.
I had the Turning Point USA stream up on my TV, and then on my phone, I kept switching back and forth between Turning Point USA and the Charlie Kirk YouTube channel just to see like what the concurrent number was at the moment, because I didn't want to miss the peak. And when so on Turning Point USA, they didn't have like super chats or anything. On Charlie Kirk's channel, people were super chatting, and I have never in my life, it was like a Christmas light show with how many super chats were flying in every second.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Mean, people were not just watching this; they were sitting in super chats that said "God bless Charlie Kirk" and God bless America,
and people were saying where they were from. I mean, it was insane. You had all these people repping where they were. The boss there yelling back at each other between the two streams were falling simultaneously. And it was nuts. I mean, you couldn't keep up the super chats. I look, the organization certainly earned a lot of money just from Charlie Kirk's channel tonight. I have no idea what TPUSA did, but I'm going to tell you right now, this was something people appreciated. It was something people needed, they wanted, and they were ecstatic to have. That is a rare thing in this country. We have not had that kind of unity. Supposedly Bad Bunny, and I'm going to ask you, Marv, do you feel like Bad Bunny unified the country tonight?
Gosh, no. People, Bad Bunny, I think made more money for Turning Point USA tonight than he made for the NFL. I sent in the private chat our article on Geeks and Gamers if you want to bring that up later. But I saw that. Pedro Pascal was there.
Pedro Pascal was in, and of course we know Pedro Pascal probably
really connect us to the American people here tonight. Let's get Peepaw out there.
Mark Ruffalo could have been there, but unfortunately he's the wrong color. But Pedro's at least a socialist, probably more than that. And I think this is what the whole halftime show was about. I think it was.
Wait, is there footage of him dancing? Because, we got to get that for the springtime spizzle.
Spring spritzel, Marvin. Come on, get it right. Spritzel.
No. Look, if that comes out, I ain't going to be here. I'm just going to.
All right, let's go to the article we've got. And this is the speed at which we move here, folks. Marvin is the managing editor of Geeks and Gamers. Marvin, you got 5 minutes for that Park Place. Here we go, folks. It is Turning Point USA. All-American halftime show pulls at least 6 million people away from Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance. When all is said and done, we think it'll be getting close to 10 mil. The alternative halftime show experiment launched by Turning Point USA on Super Bowl Sunday didn't just make noise. And by the way, folks, the reason that the NFL and all of the leagues now have to be deeply worried about this is because this was a proof of concept that blew the doors down. And that means it's not just that they can do it again. By all means, they should do it again. It would be a sin against their organization if they don't do it again. And that means the artists they can get next time will be huge. I'm not saying these people are bad. I'm saying the doors are open in ways it's unbelievable. The advertising, the sponsorships that can happen now because this worked. And it worked in spades.
Huge.
I had heard of Kid Rock, obviously, but I had never heard of the other three, and I actually really liked all three of them.
Brett was great.
My Spotify.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so going back to the Geeks and Gamers article, YouTube alone surpassed 6 million concurrent viewers. Audience 5.1 at one point. That number by itself would already pace the stream among the largest political or cultural live streams in recent memory. But that wasn't the only feed carrying the event. At the same time, the official Charlie Kirk YouTube account simulcast the halftime show, where concurrent viewership reached approximately 956,000 viewers. Combined, that places the known YouTube-only audience at 6.1 million live viewers. And Culture, explain that again. There's a segment that we don't know yet and we won't know for days. What is that?
Yeah, we have regional cable networks like Xfinity that are also airing this, along with OAN, which is a news network, and many others that are not included in these numbers.
Daily Wire Plus.
Daily Wire Plus, many others where this was being simulcast. So we don't know yet, and we probably won't know for a while, but if it exceeded 10 million, I wouldn't be surprised because regionally Xfinity is massive. And we just don't really know. Even where it is now, over 6 million that we can verify, is insane. It really kind of mitigates the claims that the NFL can make about the value of commercial advertising there. And I think from the business perspective, that's the most shocking thing I could say.
Let me pull this up real quick. This is the NFL. Yeah, this is the NFL. The official X account for the NFL says Lady Gaga is here. Okay. Scroll down. MB says, is this the quote unquote washed halftime show?
Wow.
Let's see. Mother has arrived. The vocals. Oh, wait. Jersey Boy says, I'm watching this instead.
Yeah.
There you go, folks. This is how the reaction is happening live to what's been going on. We're going to get some more reactions to this. Guys, the only portion of the show that was in English, Lady Gaga. I don't think that brought people back to the performance.
I built into this all weekend. Like building into this, every piece of content I did was talking about this, redirecting to this, the idea that this was going to be a disaster, and it was. The ratings that they were fearing actually happened. I mean, if you go back and watch
the ratings already.
No, they were fearing the ratings that were going.
Oh, they were
happen.
fearing that Turning Point USA was going to bring it up.
Yeah, because again, I mean, you're talking about a major player, whether or not they want to admit that or not. But the audience for TPUSA is enormous. How do I know? I've been to their events. I know how many people they reach. Like I'm like thinking of taking all the Hillsdale College like classes at this point, and I've been looking into what it's going to take for me to work with them regularly. So the fact that they were able to do this in this way and in this professional way, I think every single halftime event is in danger of competing with something that people will find more palatable and less offensive.
There have always been alternate halftime shows, right? But none of them ever had a lot of cultural significance. Like Warner Brothers leaned real hard into the Puppy Bowl this year, like really, really hard, like aggressively hard. Yeah. And of course that's going to do nothing. But like, I remember WWF did the halftime heat 1 year where they had the Rock and Mick Foley have a match at halftime during
Snarky.
This is the first one I think that has ever actually put a dent in Super Bowl.
Oh, it hurt them. This one hurt them, and we have
media, right? It's the power of having
alternate media. It's you, Marv. I know you don't want to take credit, but it's people like you that are changing.
Don't you start citing PBS on this channel. Don't you do it.
No.
Here's what Matt Walsh says. Matt Walsh says, having the halftime show for your biggest game of the year in a language almost none of your lifelong fans can understand, while waving the flags of countries that none of them are from, is the biggest blank you that I've ever seen a corporation give to its consumers. Now, that's Matt Walsh's opinion. Sometimes I agree with Matt Walsh. Sometimes I don't. But here's John Root. I just want people... Folks, you know how this is gonna lay out, okay? You understand the battle that's gonna take place online. Those who agree with one side are gonna say one thing, the other. But I need you to see why TPUSA cleaned the clocks of the NFL and therefore unlocked the ability to do this again and again, and with sponsorships and advertisers. And the advertisers are gonna say, we're not gonna pay so long as Jay-Z is picking the shows anymore. John Root says the NFL having a Super Bowl halftime show where their performer sings entirely in Espanol and waves other nations' flags is 100% a political statement. Bad Bunny will go down as one of the worst. No, I'm sorry. Bad Bunny will go down as the worst halftime show in the history of the league. America deserved better for its 250th birthday. That's
a good point, that this was the semi-quincentennial of the country, and this is what we did. Oh my God, he looks so stupid in that costume.
In sugarcane fields with workers all around, and I'm telling you, this was entirely, visually, top to bottom, a political message for the Super Bowl halftime, and in a very boring Super Bowl otherwise as well. Gentlemen, it's time for the last words on this one as we get ready to continue on. What do you say? Is this the end of the, what do we want to call this? The Jay-Z era of picking Super Bowl halftime shows? Is that at least going to end now?
I mean, I would like to see the Jay-Z era of him not being in jail over based on
certain islands,
based on the things that Nicki Minaj is coming out with. But yes, I think this is going to be a wake up call. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. The NFL is one of the wokest organizations on the planet now. So it really makes me happy that I don't like football, because they're not ruining a thing that I love.
You know what they love more than virtue signaling, though, Marvin?
Male cheerleaders.
Tunnels on the Epstein Island?
Money.
Oh,
they love them some money. I'm like,
who are these male cheerleaders for? Because, like, obviously it's not for the dudes, and it's obviously not for the ladies either, because I don't think the ladies are really into these, like, 90-pound skinny, like, hey, like, guys that they're putting out there.
It's not the male cheerleaders you see in college, which can hold up a lady with one hand in the middle of the air. Yeah. No, these are the soy boy guys that, can't hold a cactus at the freaking garden center.
Who would want to hold it? Why would you use that as an example? Nobody wants to hold a cactus. What are you talking about?
Look, some things are a little prickly.
Anyway, I don't care how masculine you are. Nobody wants to hold cacti.
Okay. I'm just saying, I think you're right. I think we've come to the end of the woke train. And they're gonna try to disguise it as the love train, which is what they did at the end of the show tonight, which is not the same as the peace train, because they don't understand any of the games that they're playing within, and they haven't for a long time. But they've used it as leverage within these corporations, and it has done nothing but tear those corporations down. Will the NFL realize that after this disaster? I hope so, because otherwise, we're going to be watching women's badminton.
Let me show you one last thing. I know we said we're going to do the final word, but we got to see this.
Okay.
From the NFL. Lo único más poderoso que el odio es el amor. Translates, the only thing more powerful than hate is love.
Yeah,
now, what is the hatred? Of course, you all know what the hatred is. Allegedly, right? It's Orange Godzilla.
Ice, baby. Ice, baby.
This is not a 90s performance. And we're not saying about ninjas either.
Go ninja, go.
What did I just say?
Okay. Go ninja, go.
So I decided to look and see how people are responding to NFL here. And we're going to do this by the most likes received. Onyx says Bad Bunny has more total yards at halftime than the Patriots. That's actually funny.
That's funny. That's a good tweet.
Tutu says, Viva Latino America. Oh. Interesting. Akachi says, it actually turned out good. Mugga will be fuming now, but I know their spirit was dancing. Says all of these racist arse people getting mad in the comments can keep crying. Also, Puerto Rico is a part of the... Come on, let's space that out.
We already know Puerto Rico's...
They're not apart. They're not apart from us. They're in our heart, I tell you. So BB, Bad Bunny ain't going nowhere. Then we get down to these. It's not powerful to fly flags from other countries when you're in America. NFL is just woke, blank, trash, blank y'all for ruining the sport. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Folks, here's what I need you to know. And here they are saying, worst halftime Super Bowl ever. We need Kid Rock to perform. And they show the pictures of all white people, right? Here's what you need to know.
White people.
White. I believe it's called white people. Stop playing. You're going to hit with the copyright. Here's the deal. When those are the kinds of responses to your Super Bowl halftime show, what that means is you divided. You didn't unify. And what do the advertisers want? They want you to put on a good show that makes everybody happy, so they'll buy the product. Bottom line, NFL failed. TPUSA, big win. Forever changed now. Proof of concept in the bank. They'll do it again and again and again, and millions will decide what they want to see.